Have you ever had one of those days where everything feels just quiet? Maybe the phone didn't ring, no one stopped by, and the TV was just background noise. You sit there wondering, is this it now? If that feeling sounds familiar, you're not alone. So many people after 60 experience moments like that, not because they're not needed, but because life changes and sometimes it forgets to tell us what comes next. But here's the truth. You are needed. Your wisdom, your patience, your experience. These are things younger generations are craving, whether they say it out loud or not. And there's one powerful way to reconnect with that sense of purpose: volunteering. Now, before you shake your head and think, I'm too old for that, hear me out. Volunteering isn't about being busy or filling up a schedule. It's about waking up and knowing your day matters to someone else. It's about that warm feeling in your chest when you see someone smile because of something you did. And most of all, it's about rediscovering that fire inside you that says, I'm still here and I still have something to give. In this video, we're going to explore 5 beautiful ways you can volunteer, not just to help others, but to help yourself feel truly alive again. Let's start with something that might be closer to your heart than you realize. Becoming a reading buddy at a local school or library. Picture this. You walk into a colorful classroom and there's a little one waiting for you, book in hand, eyes full of curiosity. Maybe they struggle with reading, maybe they're shy, but week after week they open up a little more because you showed up. You listened, you helped them sound out tricky words, and slowly their confidence grows. You don't need to be a teacher. You don't need fancy qualifications. All you need is patience and a kind heart. And let me tell you, there's something incredibly special about watching a child fall in love with reading because of you. It's a quiet kind of magic, but it stays with you. Now, if children aren't really your thing, that's perfectly fine. Let's shift gears. Have you ever considered helping out at a local hospital or care center? Hospitals are always in need of volunteers to greet visitors, deliver mail, or simply sit and chat with patients who feel lonely. You might think, well, I'm not a nurse, I can't do much. But you'd be surprised. Sometimes the most powerful medicine isn't a pill, it's presence. Just sitting beside someone, holding their hand, listening to their story, that can mean more than you know, especially if that person hasn't had a visitor in weeks. Your voice, your attention, it can calm fears, ease pain, and remind them that they still matter. You're not just filling time, you're filling hearts, and in return, yours starts to feel full again too. Now that we've talked about helping young readers and hospital patients, let's move into another role that taps into your life experience in a different, equally meaningful way. Think for a moment about all the lessons you've learned over the years: how to stay calm in a crisis, how to manage a household, how to listen without judging. Now imagine passing that wisdom on to someone who's just starting out in life, someone trying to find their footing. That's exactly what makes mentoring such a powerful form of volunteering. Mentoring doesn't mean standing at a podium or giving lectures. Most of the time it looks like a cup of coffee at a local cafe or a quiet conversation at the park. Maybe it's a young adult trying to start a small business, or a single parent figuring out how to balance work and family. Whatever their situation, your guidance could be the light that helps them see a way forward. And here's the thing. When you mentor someone, you don't just give them advice. You give them belief. You become the person who says, "You've got this," and actually means it. That kind of encouragement sticks. It changes lives. Many communities have programs looking for senior mentors, places where your lived experience is a treasure chest just waiting to be opened. And the best part? You don't have to know all the answers. Just being there, listening, and sharing honestly is more than enough. Of course, not everyone feels called to guide others directly. Maybe your gift is with your hands, your creativity, or simply your desire to be helpful in the background. That's where volunteering with local food banks or community kitchens comes in. And let me tell you, this kind of work is not just about handing out meals, it's about dignity, kindness, and connection. Imagine packing a bag of groceries for a struggling family, or ladling out a warm bowl of soup for someone who hasn't had a real meal in days. You're not just giving food, you're giving comfort. You're telling someone, you're seen, you matter. you're not alone. In a world that moves too fast and often forgets the people who fall through the cracks, your steady hands and warm smile can feel like a lifeline. And don't worry, if standing for long hours or heavy lifting isn't your thing, there are always smaller ways to help. Sorting canned goods, folding napkins, calling volunteers to confirm schedules. It all matters. It all adds up. And at the end of the day, when you head home, you'll know that someone went to bed a little less hungry, a little less hopeless, because of what you did. Now that we've talked about reading with children, sitting with patients, mentoring the next generation, and feeding the hungry, let's take a look at a volunteer role that might surprise you. It's something that's growing in popularity and touches not just people but animals too. For many seniors, it's a role that brings laughter, routine, and healing in return. You might not expect it, but one of the most heartwarming ways to volunteer doesn't involve people at all, at least not at first. It involves wagging tails, soft purrs, and grateful eyes that don't speak a word but say everything with a look. Volunteering at an animal shelter can be a surprisingly powerful way to feel connected, needed, and yes, loved. Now, if you've ever had a pet, you already know the comfort they can bring. But many animals in shelters have never known a kind touch or a warm bed. They arrive scared, sometimes neglected, and they desperately need gentle hands and calm voices. That's where you come in. Just sitting with a shy dog while it learns to trust again, or brushing a cat who's been alone too long, can make a world of difference. And you'd be amazed how quickly those animals start to recognize your face, wag their tails, or curl up in your lap the moment you arrive. It's healing for them and for you. And if you're worried about mobility or stamina, don't be. Shelters often need help with simple tasks like folding laundry, organizing supplies, or writing thank you notes to donors. Every role is important. Every moment of care adds up. In fact, many seniors say that working with animals helped ease their own loneliness more than they ever expected. Because in the end, purpose doesn't always come from big, dramatic actions. Sometimes it comes from the quiet moments, the gentle ones where you show up, do something kind, and walk away knowing you made a small corner of the world a little softer. So maybe you've found yourself wondering lately, what do I still have to offer? The answer is more than you know. You have stories to share, smiles to give, time that still holds meaning. Whether you're reading to a child, comforting a patient, mentoring someone through life's storms, feeding the hungry, or cuddling a scared puppy, what you're really doing is lighting a spark. And those sparks, they spread, they grow, they change people. It's easy to believe the world moves too fast now, that there's no place for us anymore. But I want you to hear this. There is still a place for you, a need for you, right now, today. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start small. Look around your town, your church, your library, your local shelter. Say yes to one little thing. Let your heart lead the way. Because every time you choose to show up for someone else, something beautiful happens inside you too. So, if you've been feeling like life has slowed down too much, like your days have lost their color or meaning, maybe it's time to give a little of yourself again. Not because you have to, but because you can. And that choice? That's where the magic begins. If any of this spoke to you, if you felt even the tiniest spark, go ahead and leave a comment below. Share your story or just say hello. Someone else might read your words and feel less alone. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe. We've got more uplifting, practical, and heart-centered content coming your way. Here's to living your best life at any age. You are not done yet. You are just getting started.